When I think of brilliant side quests, I think of games like The Witcher 3 and Nier Automata, quests that build on the lore of the game world. They don't directly contribute to the main story, but find their place in my heart as a memorable experience either by the scenario driving me through it, or with a fun spin on gameplay. Pokemon has rarely had any of that. Now, I'm not asking Pokemon to put me through an existential crisis like Nier did. Not necessarily. But even though it's always been considered a JRPG series, Pokemon has never had much to offer in the realm of side quests. However, I do believe that will change in Pokemon Legends Arceus. I'd argue it almost has to. Pokemon Legends Arceus' main freeform quest as we know it is to fill the Sinnoh Pokédex for the first time, probably by sketching it into a book like we see many times in the trailer. We also know that Legends will have a story regarding Arceus, and I'm certain it will also tie into the village we start out in, as well as Mount Coronet. So we have a story and a pretty bare-bones freeform quest that takes place throughout, right? That's where I think side quests will come in. To break up the story beats and monotony of the freeform quest, Pokemon Legends Arceus will most likely offer a plethora of side quests, probably even the most we've seen in a Pokemon game to date. It's extremely likely given Legends is very obviously inspired by The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I mean, Legend is literally in the title of both games. If the art style weren't proof enough, I'm just saying. But what kind of side quests could we see? That's what we're going to talk about today. So, sit back, relax, comment your thoughts, and let's discuss. Seriously though, did nobody else get a sense of melancholia from the Legends trailer? I mean, again, I'm not saying I need them to put me through an existential crisis or anything, but those blank stares from our player character and the Pokemon mixed with the ambient music had me feeling some type of way. So, let's start with environmental hazard quests. This ties into a theory I made in my Pokemon interactivity video for Legends. Feel free to check that out right after this video. Basically, I think there will be hazards in the overworld that certain Pokemon types and power levels can take care of. For instance, a chunk of fallen trees blocking a path can be removed by a fighting type or even a fire type to burn them away. Hell, even bodies of water are a hazard if you need Pokemon to traverse by surfing over them. Essentially, I think we'll see side quests for these kinds of hazards. Say, Maria from town needs to get to a spot in the forest but complains there are fallen trees blocking her way. If only a trainer could tame the power of Pokemon to remove them from the path. This would also be excellent subtle tutorial for the mechanics of the game. Imagine figuring out you can do these things either on your own or through a side quest if you haven't figured it out yet. The possibilities for environmental hazards are endless, so I do hope Game Freak has fun with it and runs wild with the variety for us. Next kind of side quests Pokemon Legends could have are boss Pokemon quests. Similar to what we saw in the leaked screenshots, we could have boss Pokemon that appear only if you accept certain quests, or maybe they appear regardless and you can retroactively talk to whichever NPC was troubled by them and claim a reward. Essentially, this kind of quest would go something like this. Toby from town is scared to go back to his favorite oceanside spot because an aggressive Crawdaunt has made its home there and is attacking anyone that comes near it. We then go find this Crawdaunt and find it to be extra strong, maybe even extra big, and has a boss health bar that we need to sap down to teach it some modesty, so that Toby and other Pokemon can traverse this oceanside area again. How fun would that be? This would make the Pokemon world feel so alive. Conversely, we could see Pokemon catching quests. Maybe Sophie from town adores Togepi, but Togepi is a rare Pokemon that settles in a mystical fairy forest. So we go on a quest for the rare Pokemon, catch it, and bring it back to Sophie. From that day on, we will see Togepi standing beside Sophie in the overworld, forever reminding us we brought those two best buds together all on our own. Perhaps some NPCs might describe a Pokemon's characteristics. Since the Pokédex isn't created yet, they might not know all the names of these wonderful creatures they see out in the open. So, Sophie could have asked for a rare Pokemon she saw in the forest that lives in a broken eggshell. Once again, the possibilities are endless, and the world of Pokemon would feel more alive with quests like these. It would also be fun trivia for the player if NPCs asked for Pokemon in more vague ways such as this. The next kind of side quests we can see take shape in Pokemon Legends Arceus are photo quests. I think there might be a feature similar to Breath of the Wild where we can snap photos of the world around us. It probably wouldn't be a digital camera per se, but it can be done. Maybe someone describes a kind of Pokemon they've always wondered existed or not. Then we, as the player, see what they described in the overworld. We sneak up on that Pokemon and snap a photo in first-person view. Then, we can take the photo back to Joey from town, and he's marveled that such a Pokemon actually exists and rewards us handsomely for confirming his dreams to be true. Racing quests are a possibility in Pokemon Legends Arceus as well. According to leaked screenshots of the game, we can ride atop some Pokemon. I imagine a race of sorts might be implemented into Legends similar to timed Korok quest from Breath of the Wild, or even the kind of race from Ocarina of Time to unlock Epona. This, of course, suggests that Game Freak even has the ability to craft such a thing for their game, or has enough time to learn how to do so and implement it. This sort of quest is less likely on the scale, but would be fun and engaging nonetheless. Stealth quests, however, are very likely. I imagine we'll see stealth quests in the main story segments of the game, but some fun side quests might make use of the crouching mechanic as well. Perhaps there's an item that Rosa from town needs, and it's in the backside of an area that's infested with impossibly strong Tyrantrum. We'd have to somehow sneak past the Tyrantrum in order to acquire the item, then head back with it. How fun would that be? Especially in a game that I think our player character can take damage in. Now, I don't want to have to talk about it, but I feel like I should mention it since it's almost bound to happen. But fetch quests are an easy cop-out used for side quests in even the best of games. Unlike the stealth missions I mentioned, fetch quests can have us simply grabbing items or materials in the overworld and bringing them back to an NPC. We saw a lot of these in Breath of the Wild, and sadly the rewards for most of these quests were lackluster. But so long as Game Freak rewards our fetches with value, be it with worthwhile narrative or rare items, I won't mind these much. Nier Automata has a lot of fetch quests, but at least they always leave me questioning my existence and why I'm alive, and if I'm even okay with living in a world such as this. Seriously, Pokemon doesn't need to make me have an existential crisis with its narratives, but I certainly wouldn't mind it if it did. Just saying. But what kind of side quests are you expecting or hoping to see out of Pokemon Legends Arceus? Please let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications on more of my videos. Until next time, peace out.